Hello, buddy, and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video, we will be talking about the results of the New Hampshire Republican primary and how Donald Trump has come out on top and Nikki Haley is remaining in the race. So, of course, on Sunday, Ron DeSantis dropped out, so that gives us this two-person race. Three if you count Binkley, but he only got let's see, he came in at 0.1% of the vote behind dropped out candidates at 284 votes, so he's basically done. But um, as for the two major candidates, Trump and Haley, it is just down to the two of them, and it was in New Hampshire. Donald Trump came out on top with 54.4% of the vote to Nikki Haley's 43.3. Delegates, pretty close delegate allocation. Donald Trump wins 12 of the 21 delegates. Nikki Haley wins 9. Ron DeSantis came in third at 0.7%, Chris Christie at 0.4%, Vivek Ramaswamy 0.2%, Mike Pence at 0.2%, all of which are still on the ballot, but they have dropped out of the race by now. Of course, it only takes $1,000 and being at least 35 years old and being born in the United States to be on the New Hampshire ballot. So, of course, we are going to have so many candidates be on the ballot. In last place, we have Sam Sloan with less than 1%. So, not a bad win for Trump. I personally thought it would be a couple more points in his favor, and it was at first it was really looking like this could be a pretty close race here in New Hampshire. Like right when the polls closed, and we had our first exit polls from CNN and MSNBC. Like 2/3 of voters said they didn't identify with the MAGA movement. Only like a third, or it was only like 30% that classified themselves as very conservative, but it was mostly somewhat conservative and moderate, which was very good for Nikki Haley looking into it because of course she wins independents and whatever, but and moderates, and then it was also looking like a lot of independents would show up. So it was looking good for Haley, and it from the early results, it was looking like it should have been a bit closer than 54 to 43. Donald Trump won here by 11.1%. It was really looking like for a while that it would be under double digits, that we were looking like a 7 or 8 point win for Donald Trump. And when Haley was down by 7, that is when she came out and announced that she would stay in the race. It wasn't when she was down by double digits. But the basically final results are 11% down, and Haley is staying in the race. So, I, I mean, for her to possibly have any shot at winning this nomination, she needed New Hampshire. I mean, we have been talking about New Hampshire for so long now, and how it was a must win for Nikki Haley if she wants some sort of shot at winning this thing. I mean, Nikki Haley got extremely lucky with New Hampshire being the first state. I mean, New Hampshire, of all the 50 states, if every state voted on the same day, I think that New Hampshire would have the best chance or one of the best chances of Nikki Haley winning the state. It's between like New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, and Utah, and Alaska maybe. But it really might be New Hampshire. So she got extremely lucky with New Hampshire being first. But the fact that she lost by 11% here just goes to show how she is doomed when you go across the country. I mean, this is the second state, and you might think it's a good performance for the second state, but New Hampshire is really the best that she is possibly going to get. I mean, you never see an 11-point difference between Trump and Haley in state polls. It is like a 60-point difference right now. Donald Trump is crushing Nikki Haley, and when DeSantis was in the race, in every single state. I mean, there are simply not states in polls that are as close as 11%. But Nikki Haley, I guess, did outperform by a couple percentage points than the final polls were expecting. So I guess that is why she is staying in the race. But, you move down to South Carolina. And I know Nevada comes first, and then it comes South Carolina. But Nevada literally has no impact on anyone's vote. South Carolina is right before the Super Tuesday states. So in South Carolina, um, Donald Trump is leading on average by 30% in polls. 30. So, this is what I mean here when I'm talking about Nikki Haley being lucky that New Hampshire was first. South Carolina is her home state. She was governor here for 8 years. They elected her and re elected her. And Trump is leading here by 30%. And it's not like it was even really ever close. The closest it was a 20% margin between Trump and not even Haley, but DeSantis. And now we're at a point where Trump has an insurmountable lead, 52 to 21, and this is still with DeSantis is 11%. I don't think we have had any polls come out since DeSantis has dropped out. So that 11%, the vast majority of it, let's say 8, is going to go to Donald Trump. So Trump is at 60%. Haley maximum is at 30, but that's not happening either. So there's not really a path. The point is, there's not really a path to victory in South Carolina, and then it's over. I don't even. I mean, here, let me just show you. Since I pulled the tab up, she's staying in. Anyway, that didn't need to be done. But anyway, um, again, Trump has just such a huge lead in South Carolina where I don't even think it's possible for Haley to even come close. I mean, for her to have momentum and like win most delegates on Super Tuesday, she would have to win South Carolina. Remember, and South Carolina is in about a month, and she is not going to somehow take the lead when she's down by 30, completely flip the script in a state that Trump has been leading in this entire time. It's never even been close. It's not been some back and forth between Haley, DeSantis, and Trump. So, um, I think it's solidly with Trump, and it's not like they're going to change anytime soon. And yeah, Haley doesn't even really have a shot in South Carolina, no matter how many ads she buys, how many rallies she holds. Because remember, Donald Trump can still hold better rallies and still has more money to put out more ads. So in this two-person race, it's not like we're going to start seeing any surprises. You know, when you look at past primaries, I mean, just going back to 2008, I guess, or 12 would be the best example. I mean, in Iowa, we had so many candidates. I mean, there were 6 major candidates in this race: Rick Santorum, Mitt Romney, Ron Paul, Newt Gingrich, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann. And what was I going to say? Yeah, you had. I mean, so when the margin is set to be so close with 6 major candidates. I mean, the margin is destined to be extremely close. That is when you see upsets because a candidate can just outperform a little bit, and percentage wise and ranking wise, they are going to see a huge bump in how viewers or how people who watch the race see kind of think of how they did and who has the momentum or whatever, if you know what I mean. I mean, if you outperform by 5% in a race with 6 candidates, it's going to look a lot better than when you outperform by 5% in a race among 2 people. So, point is, you know, Rick Perry, if he overperformed by 10 points or 11 points, he could have got third or second place. But if Haley outperforms by 10, then it still won't even be close. And if Rick Perry got third or second, then he would have had insane momentum. Newt Gingrich would have been a better example because 10, then he definitely would have gotten second or third and maybe second, if you are following what I mean here. So, when there's a crowded field, we tend to see surprises. Rick Santorum was just able to outperform a little bit, and he went from fourth in polls, or third in polls, to first in the results because he won by 34 votes. So, so it's kind of over for Haley. I don't know what I really don't know what she's doing here. I think it just really would have been very disappointing to drop out last night after all the momentum she has seen. It really would have been a disappointing end to a campaign that no one would have really liked to see, um, and it would have moved on to the general election just like that. So I think that she's staying in just because she does have the money, and just because if she does stay in at least till South Carolina, she would have some sort of some sort of placement in this primary's history and in American history, just a little bit, but it would be there. So she is staying in. She already has ads, $4 million worth of ads running in South Carolina, and she booked those even before the South Carolina results came in. So I guess she would have stayed in no matter what the results were. Um, and yeah, she's already going down to South Carolina. I think as we speak, she's holding a rally in North Charleston. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow or whatever. But it's over. We can start talking about the general election. This doesn't really mean anything. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.